The Hardcast. It's time for another extremely infectious episode of the Hardcast. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'm joined by Steven.
The man whose night is so Xeno.
Tonight's review/discussion is about Prototype, the latest open-world sandbox-style action game developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Activision, available for both the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The player takes control of a shapeshifter named Alex Mercer. You are the genetic prototype of the military's latest biological weapon. You step out into the streets of a quarantined Manhattan with no memory but limitless potential power. As a deadly viral epidemic sweeps through the city, top-secret Black Watch special forces move in, transforming Manhattan into a volatile war zone. You'll delve into the mysteries of your origin and the true nature of your devastating powers. So, Steven, did Prototype overwhelm your pathetic defenses and consume your body and mind? Or did it transform you on a genetic level, turning you into an unstoppable bioengineered killing machine? Just a question, you know.
My pathetic defenses.
You are only human, after all.
That is true. And that's something Alex is definitely not. He lost his humanity since the beginning of this little charade. But definitely
he belongs to a race called Badasses.
Badasses. Just one more to the list of epic characters. I mean, he does give off this epic feel. I mean, you have Alex Mercer, our protagonist. He's this badass, kick anyone's cursed up a storm hero or anti-hero if you want to look at it the other way.
Right.
But he gets humongous, issue about infections and this viral outbreak of all of in Manhattan, and he's like the only thing that can either destroy it or save it. It gives this feel where you see sometimes you're with the military, sometimes you're with the infected.
The infected, yeah.
But man, like this game overall, like it was extremely solid gameplay. Unbelievably addictive, fun, out this world. You turn on your console, I want to play some Prototype. You throw it in there and you just have fun.
It's all about the free roam, man. The free roam.
All about the free roam. Forget the story. It's all about that free roam. Every time you look at the dashboard, someone's in free roam. Because you're free. The whole Manhattan is your playground. It's just like the Spider-Man and Hulk. You're free. You got buildings all over the place. You jump from building to building. Collectibles. You can kill people. You could do side missions, consume events. I mean, the whole game is packed to the brim. They must have filled this disc with every inch of it was used somewhere. It was very...
Yeah, it feels like a cross between Crackdown and Hulk Ultimate Destruction or whatever. Yeah. Kind of like a mix between those two.
Crackdown's a good comparison. It's a humongous game where you can do whatever the hell you want. You can do the story or not. I mean, you just fight for upgrades. You can have
you can skip all the cutscenes and go straight to the action if you want.
Which I had to do because the web of intrigue was getting ridiculous. It's this little menu where you have every bit and piece of the viral outbreak. Somebody knows something.
Yeah, all the doctors and soldiers and generals and this and that. Everyone who's involved.
Right, you get bits and pieces, so you put the whole story together. They give it to you, so you have it you consume the target, and you literally put the story together. They do this little...
Yeah, you basically ingest their mind into your body.
You get this little 30-second, 45-second clip of what they know, and it's very little, but it's a little piece of the story, and you get it's a ridiculous amount of targets you have to consume. I mean, it's in case anyone doesn't know. Alex will just take the guy and absorb his consciousness into him. You absorb his memories, you absorb what he knows, you absorb everything.
And you can even after that you can transform your body and look just like them if you want.
Yeah, the element of disguise, man, it's ridiculous. They got the helicopters, tanks, the gameplay is phenomenal. But if we mention the story a little bit, we already mentioned most of it, where there's an infection, you have Alex, and then it all goes down. He just wants revenge. It's the typical, run-of-the-mill story where he just wants revenge. He wants to find out who did this. All those involved, he wants answers. That's pretty much it. And you see this. I like how the narration was excellent because the whole game already happened. You always see Alex at the end on day 18 of the infection, and he's telling the whole backstory. You play the entire story from going back.
Well, it has one of the best tutorials in my mind because basically you start out with all your powers and all the abilities, and the infection's full on in Manhattan, and you're just ripping through the city kicking ass, but you've never done it before, and you're trying out all these abilities and things like that. And you're fighting all these crazy enemies, and then all of a sudden it goes day one, and you're like, what? And then you go back and you lose all your powers and all your things, and you don't even know what's going on. And it makes you want to play the game because you want all your powers back.
That was the biggest thing, man. That was the biggest thing. I couldn't even dash, couldn't even glide. I was like, damn, you gotta get all your powers back quick. But definitely, like that intro was ridiculous. The first, not even 10 minutes, but it was serious. They throw you in, you have all your powers, you have max health, you've got everything. You're sitting there trying to figure it all out because they just literally throw you in combat. People are already shooting you before you actually get to walk around as Mercer. I mean, you've got the running speed, the jump upgrade. I mean, the whole game overall was like ridiculous. Tons and tons of upgradable powers and abilities.
It's like probably the most upgradable powers I've ever seen in a game of this type.
Right. Like Hulk had a lot, but this game, like, I thought I had a lot of experience. Everything you do gives you experience, but I thought I had millions of experience. I look at the shop list and I'm like, oh my god, I'm broke. I'm broke. You sitting there trying to find strategies to increase your experience, or not experience, evolutionary points is what they call it.
I know they should have had some kind of financing deal, because I mean, come on, this is America. Everyone's in debt, so you gotta cater to your audience and be like, 12-month financing, good interest rate, whatever. Give me those powers.
Some layaway, man. Layaway, dog. Let me have it now and worry about the payment later.
Yeah, it worked for your Mitsubishi, right? You're not 16 by 9 TV.
It is not 16 by 9. That is true. 1080i. But I was playing Prototype on this, and the big screen is very nice. Like, we can get into the specs of the game, like the graphics.
So the big screen was nice, but how was the TV?
The TV needs an upgrade. I'll agree to that. But for the game, like, it goes down to elementary, deductions, where you'd have either, if the game is graphically impressive, you'd either have a short game or not a fulfilling game.
Or like a small world with very few enemies in it at any one time.
Yeah, and the enemies would repeat, and it's the same, regurgitations over and over again. This game, the graphics were toned down. They didn't look that impressive. They were still good, but they didn't look that impressive. Like, you see, like, almost the blocky type characters. The humans walking around, normal civilians, they're like blocky.
Yeah, it's using that old Hulk, like, Ultimate Destruction engine from previous generation. They just kind of upgraded it, high-res that shit a bit. And, I mean, it doesn't look bad. Some of the enemies look pretty good. I think the hunters look pretty good.
They were fantastic.
But, yeah, some of the people, like, walking in the street, it's not, basically, let me put it this way, it's not GTA. I think this game is way more fun than GTA, but the graphics aren't the same as GTA. But at the same time, like, they were working on this game for a really long time. This game was in development for quite a long time. It was with Vivendi Universal before Activision took over and things like that. So this game was supposed to come out, like, 2 years ago almost. Give it a little leeway there because, obviously, the game is a little bit older. But I think they took that time and they added shitloads of powers and abilities and fleshed out the story a bit, I guess.
That's where you get your reward from. You pay for in graphics, but you get a much bigger game. Yeah. Like, you get the entire island, the whole city, like, is your playground. You have to, if there's a quest on the other side of the city, you're going to feel you running. It's going to take you a minute to get all the way over there.
And it's fun, though, because, like, the way Alex Mercer moves with his parkour moves and his gliding and his jumping over buildings and I mean, it's a lot of fun to just use Alex, because, like, the controls are really tight. Like, you can I mean, sometimes in the thick of things you kind of do things you don't want, but a lot of times you can kind of, like, land right on a dime.
That is true. You get good to the glide. It's new at first. It's that weird feeling where it's strange, but once you get used to the gliding and the air dashing, you can, like, land exactly where you want to, depending on the situation. Like, you want to kick off a building, use that for more leverage, and you can, oh man, like, it's like one of the events where it tells you land as close to the target as possible.
Yeah,
I get a gold on that every single time.
First try,
First try, never had to retry because I knew exactly where to land.
I loved those events because I'm like, oh, I'm going to be upgrading something very soon.
The controls were very good. Very, very refined. I mean, you had complete control over Mercer. If something happened, the only thing that you didn't have control over entirely was the camera. When you have to lock onto an enemy and you
that got kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, you use the right stick to try to toggle through all the different targets because you've got tons of enemies trying to kill you all at once. And if you're trying to get that one helicopter or that one web of intrigue in the middle of all the combat, you're trying to toggle and you hit the wrong guy or something. It's because of the camera and the enemy targeting. That was the only issue I had. The only issue.
That kind of pissed me off too, because there might be a tank right behind you, and you're, like, trying to target that tank, but instead it targets some freaking civilian in front of you. That's like, what? Why would I be targeting a civilian? I mean, like, he's no problem, like, at all.